Listen to that. Love that. I know I had mentioned before about people who lost everything due to some war or because of the weather. And I had also mentioned to look around to see, if you don't go there yourself, to see what organization is really doing the work you like to see in the world, as far as helping the people in Gaza, helping the people in Sudan, helping the people in Venezuela, all around the world. I don't know everything that's going on in the world, but when people lose everything to that, they have nobody else but to rely on us. And if we all come together and try to get them back on their feet, that'd be great. But the thing that bothers me the most is I don't like to see them to wait in line for hours for food and then sometimes they don't get any. I would rather them plant their own food and they could be independent rather than dependent. Also, it's just so noisy here. Okay, finally. Your voice and your signature and your donation is very much needed in Alaska to protect the Arctic refugee so that it remains roadless and wild and free forever. If they open it to oil drilling, that's going to be a disaster. Please say no to oil drilling on earthjustice.org and everywhere else that you need to say no to oil drilling. I'm not sure how many organizations are doing it, but I know earthjustice.org is doing it for sure. You want to check out IFAW, you want to check out Greenpeace, you want to check out NRDC. There's so many of them. Please say no to oil drilling in the Arctic as soon as possible. And make sure that the ban on whaling is permanent and forever in Iceland. And that the seal hunt is a thing of the past, and make sure you put your voice for that too. And when people are showing elephants, when they have chains around their feet and chains around their neck, they're being used for profit. Whether it's from the logging industry or people using them to give rides. They don't belong being a slave for profit. If you see an elephant in chains, please call the elephant sanctuary, elephant orphanage, and let them know where these elephants are so that they can be with other elephants free and not be used for profit any longer. There's so many sad stories of elephants being in chains for 37 years, and one was 35 years old, and she had 3 babies, and they took all of them from her. I think that one was used for rides. The other one was used for logging. And then there was another one that I don't know what he was using the elephant for, but he wasn't feeding the elephant, and the elephant was hungry, and then his favorite treat was a peanut, and so he went after all the peanuts, and thank God that guy was arrested. And animals don't belong in the circuses because they're severely, their living conditions are horrendous. They don't feed them, they don't treat them well. And if there aren't circuses, please report it so that we can get them all out of circuses. There should be no horses in New York City. The ban on, please use your voice and your signature to set the horses free so that there's no horse and buggy in New York anymore, because the way those people treat those horses, they put them in some kind of, 8-story building. I think they're almost at the top, and they have a little tiny hole, and they're surrounded by clutter. They don't get a chance to rest, and then when they're so tired that they can't work anymore, they fall in the street. You see the carriage rider beating the horse to get up, and he's not feeding him, not allowing him walk on grass. Please use your voice to say no more horse and carriage rides in New York City or anywhere else. I think it's ridiculous in 2026 that people are using animals for profit. and it's horrendous how they're treated. Then recently there was some poachers who had poached a beautiful giant elephant with beautiful tusks, beautiful, and was pregnant. And the baby, they were still able to they got the baby, and the baby's fine, but I don't know what happened to the elephant. I don't know if the people looked the other way when that was going down. I don't know if the people were paid off when that went down, but just because that went down, one elephant gone is one too many. And I feel that all those elephants that are there should now go to an elephant sanctuary because they were so incompetent. And what the drones should be used for is to protect the wild lands, is to protect the wildlife, and to make sure that they get all the loggers and all the trophy hunters and round them up and make them pay serious fines. And if they have taken out an animal, they should spend the rest of their life in prison. And when you go shopping, you want to make sure that you're buying products that are not destroying nature. Until my hand heals, I really can't do this any different. So it is what it is for right now until my wrist heals. And when I got I guess it was a questionnaire to give the hospital a rating. The staff were great, the hospital was clean, it was run well, and people were very helpful. Except 2 people there don't even deserve to be there. I feel that they should be terminated because of what happened. And I let them know that. I don't ever want to see either one of them again. And I won't allow them to, I don't want anyone else to experience what I did with them either. When you go to the hospital, you either have a serious injury or you're sick. And you're looking for relief. At no point is it okay for a doctor to show anger to his patients. And if a doctor messed up and you tell them what they did is hurting you, because what this doctor did after he put the splint on, because I had one that was taken off, and I told you my fingers and my hand were swollen, I had to go for another x-ray just to make sure he did it right. And they saw in the x-ray that he did not. And they say, I see what you're talking about. Because where there was no pain, now there is pain. So I ripped it off and told them. So he had to stop what he was doing to come back to put on a new one. This time he asked me he assigned someone to do an MRI for me. Well, if I can't really stretch my arm completely out because I have 3 cracks in my wrist and I can't, I can't really do anything with my hand or fingers just yet, how the hell am I going to be able to stretch my arm out to do an MRI? So you see what I'm saying? He was so furious that he was trying to add insult to injury and make me suffer even more. When he came into the MRI room, because when he put the splint on, I didn't even get a room. He put it on in the hallway. So now I go into the MRI room, and the way he looked at me he was furious. He was so angry. I can't believe you took that off. I'm so busy and blah, blah, blah. Whole 9 yards. So when he got to the wrist, he pressed so hard on the wrist, and he was looking at me with like such anger. And he did it deliberately. All because I told him the way he had put the splint on was hurting me where it didn't hurt before. And could he redo it? Then he left. Then he had this nasty woman try to do an MRI. She's trying to get me to either lie on my stomach or on my back to try to stretch my arm out to get an MRI. I'm like, this is crazy. I got up and left. So when I filled out the form, the questionnaire of what my experience was there, everything was great except for those 2, and I let them know. Not only that, but when I came out of the MRI room, there was a policeman standing in the hallway. Now, he must have caused some serious drama and told some serious lies. To now suddenly you have a policeman standing in the hallway of the waiting room with patients. Now, if a doctor did that, he definitely deserves to be terminated, because that was one bad decision after another. Unnecessary drama in a hospital where people are injured and sick. At no point should anyone tolerate this kind of behavior from what calls himself a doctor or a surgeon. You do have rights, and you don't have to put up with it. But if you don't say anything, it's going to keep happening. So the second splint he put on, I ripped off the next day because it was so freaking heavy. He knew exactly what he was doing. I'm already in pain. I can, I don't need that excess weight on a wrist that's cracked in 3 places. After you tell me, don't lift anything. So you made that splint so heavy that it was causing pain. I just ripped off the next day. I won't recommend this doctor to anyone. And certainly that woman who was in the room where who was assigned to do the MRI, I won't recommend her to anyone either. But there was a few people in the room, but I'm only mentioning the two that did such a terrible job. You don't have to take it, and you don't have to keep quiet about it. And that goes for anything. If you're around a bunch of people that are trying to keep you from everyone that you know or friends with, and there's always drama with them, and they're trying to beat you down in a negative way by constantly starting arguments for no reason. You don't need that either. You want to be careful of the company you keep, because if they don't have your back, why keep them around? Kick them to the curb with the trash where they belong. And then, of course, if they're doing that, then certainly there's got to be some underhandedness. There's got to be something that's going on that you don't know about. But just know this: what goes around comes around. And everything that's done in the dark that they think they're going to get away with, they only do to themselves. So, and these activations that I do, like, I do them on the spot. I don't, they're live on the spot when I do them. It's up to you how far you want to take it. It's up to you what you put into it. But the thing that I eliminated was the noise from the outside world. Like pay attention, do not pay attention to appearances. And just keep going. And, take nothing personal, and whoever has an opinion to say about what you're doing, that's none of your business. Just let that go and keep moving forward. Because if you let the opinions of others interfere, then, how far do you think you're going to get? Just follow your heart. With others who maybe are trying to stop you from going within. Listen to that. It's beautiful. And here's, well, I don't know if I should share that. I don't like people speaking for me. And I especially don't like people speaking for me if they're on something. Like, say you had to go to the hospital and you needed a ride. Me, I'm still driving, so. And you have someone with you who's under the influence of something, and they want to act like they know everything because now they're under the influence of whatever they've taken. I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't want anyone speaking for me. I don't need it. And I never gave anyone permission to speak for me ever. Nor would I ever give anyone authority over anything where I'm concerned. But I don't really feel like going into that, so I'm just gonna end that there. On my hands, I just felt some pain in the wrist and the fingers. I was doing better all day, but I'm better off when today, right now, I went out for a walk. And I'm better off that I don't do it until I'm I thought I was ready to go for a walk, but it doesn't look like it. It's going to heal in its own time, and that's the way it is. And as much as I'd like to rush it and would have had it done yesterday, it's not doing that. And it's like trying to get around with one hand is not as easy as you think, and it takes longer to do things. So I try to make a joke out of it, but it's not all fun and games being like this for the past 7 weeks. And I did it, I don't have just one crack, I have 3. And that's never happened to me before in my life. So. So I look at that like, okay, well, the old is gone forever now because that happened. I'm really feeling some serious pain between my fingers right now. I think it's mind over matter. This too shall pass, and it'll be like brand new soon. If you'd like me to do an energy reading, send me a photo. Please like, share, and subscribe. The more people this reaches, the better. If you have any comments or anything you care to share, send me an email to reinadhabsburg@gmail.com. See you next time.